Hi, welcome to the channel, Budget Audio Review and Upgrades. Today we're reviewing this Rotel RA-810a amplifier. Now before we start, if you want to see me clean inside and adjust the bias, there's a link to the video at the top now. Now this is 20 watts a channel, this would have been bottom of their range at the time. Let's quickly look at the front. We've got power, we've got the phone socket for your headphones, we've got bass, treble, balance, the tape monitor and the function, which is Phono, CD, tuner, auxiliary, and the volume at the end there. I'm just checking they've got a little click position in the middle of these controls. Yeah, okay, just thought I'd mention that. Okay, this is an amplifier, and I've got to say, I've got the video of me cleaning this with the vents at the top, because they do get quite dusty, these kind of amplifiers, obviously depending where you put them. Let's have a little look at the back and see what's around the back. As you can see around the back, there's one speaker terminals there for one set of speakers, and you've got your phono input with the earth, you've got your CD, tuner, AV auxiliary, and your tape monitor and input. And there's a little look top down into this Rotel amplifier. So how did this sound? I'm going to bring the old favourite in, I suppose, the 101, the benchmark amplifier, so to speak, even though it's not really, it's just a line in the sand, a notch on the stick, you know what I mean, kind of comparison. Don't forget that was bottom of the range back then, you know, comparison price wise, this is bottom of the range in its time as well, and the prices would have been similar with, you know, with inflation, etc. taken into account. I could get a better amplifier obviously, but it's going to cost more. You know, it may have been bottom of the range of some other companies, but it may have been a lot dearer in comparison to that 101, you know what I mean? So I'll try and keep it there to kind of give a fair comparison. That 101 is probably about £100 these days, £100 here in the UK, and this is probably about £50 on eBay, something like here in the UK, second-hand shops, etc., all them kind of places, you know what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to try and, you know, compare the two as I go along as well, but obviously tell you a little bit about this amplifier on its own merit as well. How did it actually sound? Well, I'm going to go straight away and compare it. That's a 101. That's 15 watts a channel. This is 20. The same old thing. People say that them vintage old 15 watts are more powerful than coming forward 15 watts. And that was the case here. It was quite apparent. This is 20 watts. I had to turn the volume up a little bit higher. Not by much, but a little bit higher to kind of get the same volume levels, amp against amp. Well, this amplifier comes across as like it's quite a smooth, relaxing, easygoing amplifier. Quite a neutral sounding amplifier, just lacking a little bit of detail, some clarity and some definition maybe what's missing out of here. The bass was quite nice, wasn't quite as deep as the 101, wasn't quite as punchy and wasn't as detailed as the 101, but still quite acceptable, still quite nice. You know, the drums and the bass all sounded nice on here, but just lacking a little bit in them places. The vocals come across quite nice, no real harshness to them, no sibilance. They sounded quite nice, quite controlled, just lacking a little bit of detail and definition. The mid-range instruments sounded quite nice as well, just lacking that definition again, just lacking that little bit of clarity, but they sounded fine, sounded quite nice, sounded smooth, you know, well balanced all in all really. Top end just lacked that little bit of sparkle the 101 would have, but other than that, that was all right. Again, just lacking a little bit of clarity, a little bit of detail, and that can be said about the whole spectrum of this amplifier. I think, you know, it's a neutral sounding amplifier. Everything just lacked a little bit of detail and a little bit of clarity, but then again, probably to be expected by the bottom of the range amplifier in that series. Onto the sound stage of the amplifier. That was okay, that was fine, never went beyond the speakers. It didn't have a great deal of depth to it. I would have liked more depth, more space, more airiness to it. Focus was okay, that was fine. Instrument placing wasn't too bad, done a pretty good job there. You know, comparing it with the 101, it just wasn't as spacious and airy. But then that's your personal preference, depending how you can listen to the amplifier. I like getting in the sweet spot. Some people like just plonk it down one end of the room, not too worried about where they sit, and just want to listen away to some music and that. And it's done a fine job. Like I say, just lacked a little bit of detail, a little bit of clarity, but you know, still done a fine job really. So I think, you know, for the money you're going to pay, £40, £50, you know, it's going to be a good step up, you know, onto the first run of that ladder into the hi-fi, kind of like budget hi-fi field, etc., whatever you want to call it. And you may just want to stop there and be quite content listening to this. And I think it's going to give you a many pleasurable hour, but you know, just lacking that little bit of detail and clarity, but a neutral and quite relaxing and a smooth sounding amplifier. So hopefully that's helped you out a little bit and maybe deciding to pick one of these up or not. Until the next video, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.